Welcome to Dare to Listen. Conversations about self-discovery, inner transformations, and our connections with the unseen. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of the conversation with Chrissy McFarren, rancher, shadow worker, lover of horses, and the gifts of how horses can support deep, deep work. In this part 2 of the conversation, Chrissy and I look at her human design and how her human design offers a window into another way of explaining all of the things that she's been talking about regarding her passions, how her energy works. We explore the significance of her community, the creative fuel she has, her acoustic, audio, sound sensitivities, and other bits and pieces. I'm so glad you're here. Did I forget to say hi? My name is Name, and I'm a self-awareness coach, human design analyst, guide, mentor. Thrilled to pull up your chart, work with you, help you integrate the information and support that human design can offer. Here's a snippet where Chrissy and I explore some of her tribal gate and channel activations.
He was skinny and not in good shape, and so I go right into rescuer mode because he's part of my tribe. So I'm like, I find the welding gloves. I managed to catch him.
Yep.
And call Parks and Wildlife, and they got him to a rehab. But it was like then it becomes my the fight for something I love and
Yep.
to make sure it's okay. So I mean that I was just thinking, and I will do that for my my community that feels like my tribe. I would fight tooth and nail for them.
Yep. Yeah. So that is a perfect example or a perfect story to represent the 4037. So gate 37, so your handshaking, you got two sides creating the channel, and 37s are very attuned to the needs in a room. So this would be another characteristic that would make you an epic facilitator in a group container, because there's a reading, there's a sensing, there's a who's needing to be talking right now, who's in conflict with somebody on the other side of the room, etc. That's like your system is tracking that, is very sensitive to that. And then the 40 side of that is sometimes referred to as the breadwinner. So it's the hardest working person who's going to do everything that needs to be done so that the resources are here so that people can meet their needs. And so part of the quality of this channel, it's a channel, I think, of friendship, is that the 37 picks up, what the needs are and wants to address them from an emotional space. And the 40 is like, I'm going to work hard, but then once I've done all the work, I need a siesta. I want to be alone. I don't want anybody to come talk to me. I want to just have my reset, and y'all do what you need to do alone, away from me. Okay. And let's conclude with part 2 of this gorgeous 2-parter conversation with Chrissy McFarren. I feel myself wanting to go to your chart, and I'm wondering.
Absolutely.
You're
Let's
up for
go.
that? Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Oh, cool. So this is your chart. And I guess before I say things, because I don't know how much you've pulled up your chart on your own, I'm curious what you track, what stands out to you as you're looking at this on the screen.
Right. And I had my women's circle. We had a guest facilitator come to our women's. Now, this was years ago.
Sure.
And she worked in human design. And so, I remember being a manifesting generator.
Yep.
And that I think there was a piece around like having an emotional center
Mm-hmm. That's the same
and
energy.
solar plexus. Like there's some things that I, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I remember that piece and that piece. But beyond that, and I remember being really fascinated at time and realizing like, oh, this is a deep dive. Like this
Mm-hmm.
modality, like I could go down a rabbit hole with it. But it's been a while.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but as you're looking at the what's on the screen,
mhm.
maybe less so about recall, and I'm happy to go wherever you want to go, but what stands out to you?
I mean, one of the things that's interesting me is just, as I look at it, like that it leans right-sided.
Mm.
Like there's
Mm-hmm.
there's
The
the up
brown.
down,
Mm-hmm.
but then the things that are filled in,
Mm-hmm.
like the two triangles on the right, like
Yeah.
that's the first thing I see that I'm like, well, that's curious to me.
Yeah. So, drum roll, please. Chrissy, you are a powerhouse.
Oh,
Oh.
oh,
How does those words land for you? Is that uncomfortable?
it is uncomfortable.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
there's one part of me that when I look at everything I've manifested in my life and what I'm doing,
yep.
I'm like, yeah, it's, like there's a lot of great stuff happening in life. And then when you say it, it's
Mm.
like the part of me that has a hard time owning
Uh-huh.
that discomfort of like, ugh.
Got it.
Um, so it's a bit conflicted, honestly.
Great. Great in the sense of I'm hearing the clarity of awareness of what you're tracking in yourself. So,
Yeah.
solar plexus is the brown triangle on the right, so the leaning towards the
Hmm.
right, and it connects with the littler triangle, which is referred to as the will center. So, this is the part of energy that I have fun graphics. So, this to me is the will center,
Hmm.
where it's, I will do the thing. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Is swearing
Yeah,
okay? I
that's a
didn't ask
fit.
you ahead of time.
That is a fit.
Yeah. Um, and what's interesting about how it's aligned, so we've got the little triangle that links up, or I think of it as like handshakes. So you've
Oh,
got
look at that. Yeah.
the 40 and 37, they're handshaking to the solar plexus. So the I'm gonna do it, power, potency, is linked and interconnected with emotionality.
Mm.
So it could be if somebody with a defined solar plexus, and in human design, solar plexus is referred to as emotionality. And so I'll go
Hmm.
back to another fun imagery. And so the solar plexus is all about the emotional process, the highs, the lows. And I like
Mm.
this image of a roller coaster because depending upon where you're at in the process of navigating the emotional chemistry, because it's literally chemistry in the body, it could feel like bliss. It could feel like hope. It could feel like heaviness. It could feel like anything in between, kind of like, rose colored glasses versus the sky is falling, like the whole range. The
Mm.
gift of having a defined solar plexus is having gone through so much ups and downs and finding the truth of an experience once the emotional chemistry settles. So if you
Yeah.
think about like a snow globe that gets shooken up, it's maybe less clear what you're looking at until all of the snowflakes settle.
Hmm.
So there could be this question that comes through, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And the other kind of gift that people who are in connection with people with the defined solar plexus is to ask you in this scenario, or ask the person with the defined solar plexus, how do you feel now? How do you feel now? How do you feel now?
Mm.
Because you're always in some form of that roller coaster
Hmm.
that you're possibly going to hear a situation differently because you're either blissed out or you're somewhere down the line of the heaviness.
Hmm.
And I'm going to pause because I can like hit the roller coaster, hit the fire hose, and just off and running. Yeah, anything you want to reflect or ask questions about what I've said?
No, it just feels, I feel aligned with all of that.
Okay.
Like, yep, that is definitely, and I think for me, I've often said like like it takes me a while to process something. I'll say
Mm-hmm.
that to my husband. Well, hold on, I'm a slow processor, and I think it's because I need to get through the emotionality of it first, like you said, the snow globe, and then I process, and then I grab the truth
Yep.
from the situation
Yep.
for myself, and then get to and now what do I want to do with it?
Yeah.
Because then I think I go back into the will of like, so what do I want to do with this situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you remember earlier on, I was explaining about the butcher, the
Yes.
principles of revolution. You have the same activation.
Hmm.
So, um, uh,
Ah,
49.3. And what's interesting is it's in your Venus. So that could be its whole other curiosity of explanation or exploration. So, yeah, so the qualities of your solar plexus are strongly informed by the relationships you're in.
hmm.
So, this quality of the 4037 is in human design referred to as the tribal circuitry. So, your loved ones, the people who you would consider to be community, your emotionality, your fight, I'm going to do this thing, is often, or I would imagine based on this chemistry, is linked to the tribe, is linked to your
Absolutely.
family. And
Absolute, absolutely. And the animals, like for me, like um the animals, wild and domestic, are part of my tribe.
yes.
For example, we had just last week, I think because of all of our drought and everything else,
Mm,
we had a just coming down the driveway to the ranch. We were coming back from moving cattle,
mm,
and we were in the truck and trailer, and a little brown furry thing was running alongside our driveway, like coming down towards the house, and I was like, my brain was like, "What is that?" And it was this little bear cub, but
mm.
he was skinny and
Ah,
not in good shape, and so. I go right into rescuer mode because he's part of my tribe. So I'm like, I find the welding gloves. I managed to catch him
yep,
and, call Parks and Wildlife, and they got
yep,
him to a rehab. But it was like, then it becomes the fight for, for something I love and
yep.
to make sure it's okay. So, I mean, I was just thinking, and, and I will do that for my community that feels like my tribe. I would fight tooth and nail for them.
Yep. Yeah. So that is a perfect example or a perfect story to represent the 4037.
Mm,
So gate 37, so you're handshaking, you got two sides creating the channel, and 37s are very attuned to the needs in a room. So this would be another characteristic that would make you an epic facilitator in a group container, because there's a reading, there's a sensing, there's a who's needing to be talking right now, who's in conflict with somebody on the other side of the room, etc. That's like
mhm,
your system is tracking that, is very
mhm,
sensitive to that. And then the 40 side of that is sometimes referred to as the breadwinner. So it's the hardest working person who's
mm,
going to do everything that needs to be done so that the resources are here so that people can meet their needs. And so part of the quality of this channel, it's a channel, I think, of friendship, is that the 37 picks up, what the needs are and wants to address them from an emotional space. And the 40 is like, I'm going to work hard, but then once I've done all the work, I need a siesta. I want to be
mhm.
alone. I don't want anybody to come talk to me. I want to
Yep.
just have my reset and y'all do what you need to do alone, away from me. And that's another level. And I'm curious to ask you the question before I explain it. After that bear cub call, put the gloves on, capture, and then call in services, what did you do? Like, what did you notice about your energy?
Oh, it definitely, there's, it goes down because there's massive relief.
Yeah.
It's like, that piece has come to, conclusion.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess completion
Mm-hmm.
is the word that comes to me. Like that job is done.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and yet he's still in my heart. Like I've been trying to reach out to
Yeah.
the ranger, just, like I need to know, did he make it? How's he doing? Like my heart's still connected to him.
Yeah.
But I think the doing part is
Yes.
done.
Yes. So what we're seeing on the screen in this bottom portion, there's the white all the way at the bottom, which is referred to as the root, which doesn't have any activation. Doesn't mean you don't have a root, but you don't have life force fueling and activating it in a continual way. And so these bottom four, so the bottom white is the root, the red in the center is the sacral, the red triangle is the will or ego center, and then the triangle on the right that's brown is the solar plexus. Those four are motors. So what's interesting to me that I wanted to speak to next is a willpower motor is going to operate with long rest cycles. So it's like, get the inertia, I'm going to go do the thing, almost can't rest until the thing is completed, and then flat. I need to drop, I need to rest. So what can be a helpful thing for people with a defined ego is be careful what commitments get made. Yes. Because the ego is about, I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to show up, and I may not want to. Something about me emotionally, because there's that roller coaster, the snow globe's been shooken. So I actually don't feel up to it, but I made a promise. Yeah. So it's almost like there's a hook of the will center until the commitment is honored.
Yep.
You track that?
That is very, that is definitely has happened in my life for sure. And what I'm, as a rancher, it's like I was saying, that the challenge is that, and I'm, my husband has a full-time job doing, so I'm the boots on the ground rancher. Yeah. And it's a 24/7 job. So, there'll be other projects that, that I'll complete. Like you said, I am committed to the end. And then, but I find that like still working on the balance to have that full rest. Yeah. And that's my work in this world is getting that, that deep rest that is needed. And there have been times where I'm like, oh gosh, why did I say yes to this? Like, because I will follow it to the end and give 100%. So there have been times of too much giveaway on my part. Yeah.
Yeah. So the quality of the will center is about stewarding. So what did I commit to that I want to steward? So if we go back to this image of, the lion, the handshake is the commitment. That's what I'm trying to represent there. But, think about a lion who goes out, eats what it needs to, feeds its family, but then it wants to have a really long nap. And so it's so important that handshake commitments are renegotiated so that you can steward in the ways that are healthy for you. Because I don't go so far into this myself just because I don't feel so as educated as I want to be, but all of these centers connect to a physicality in the body. And so this literally is connected to the heart muscle.
Yeah.
So if you need support for yourself around, I want to give this some more love in myself, the more you can renegotiate,
Mm.
reassess the boundaries, the commitments, because what could be a scenario of like reactivity or like a charged activation could potentially be around fairness.
Yes.
I think of this as like an abacus. Anytime that there's tribal circuitry that creates the fact that you have an emotional center as your authority, because in human design, anytime this triangle is colored in, Yahtzee, that's the one that gets called the authority. So everything needs to be around where are
Mm.
my emotions at? Have I come to truth in the timeline that worked for me?
Mm.
And so anybody who's getting that activated, and we haven't even looked at this 59.6, that's also tribal. So you're twice tribal activated. So your community could be where the anger comes in, or the
Mm.
frustration, or the sadness, or whatever the
Mhm.
emotionality is. So more truth, more processing that you can give yourself to really understand that,
Mm.
I would say the better.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
The other piece that feels important to name, and I was hearing it and kind of holding it as a question when we were talking about the horses, is
Mhm.
this channel 59.6. So the channel 59.6 is what activates one of the ways that your sacral is activated. And so the sacral is all about life force. It's where creativity comes from, all of that. I've got a cool image, but I'm going to skip that for now. And it's the channel of mating. And mating, in the sense, in this scenario, is around creating an environment where deep intimacy can happen.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Do you want to say more what the wows are?
Yeah, it just, I mean, that's that's what happens here at the ranch. And um
Yep.
and I feel, I've often thought about like and that's something that I've created and cultivated here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I've often just thought about that as a deep, like something inside of me wanting that for myself, then creates it for my tribe.
Yeah, yeah.
So, hmm.
And the way this is kind of like the origin story, or how Ra Uruhu, the person who brought this through, articulated this channel, is because I don't know if you see that there's the other one on the left, the 5027,
Mm-hmm.
um, which isn't consistently. You still have it, but it's just not a consistent. Light switch isn't turned on for you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that side is all about caring, where
Hmm.
the 59.6 is, and caring and values are the two keynotes. But the 59.6 is like, I see a wall here. I'm going to break that wall. I'm going to break the aura of that maybe boundary, because I know we can go deeper. I know we can have a deeper, intimate connection. And so if you think about mating as in like creating children, you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's some breaking of boundaries there. Like the sperm
Yes.
has to penetrate the egg, etc. So that could all be happening literally. So you could have 20 children, given this chemistry. And I imagine all of the people who have interacted with you over your lifetime have felt like children. Like,
Well, it's so funny. Our two apprentices that are here
ah,
now, I mean, they literally say they refer to Dave and I as mom and dad, and they're like,
ah,
"God, we feel like we're your children," and
yep,
they literally just said that yesterday. So, and
yeah,
for a lot of our apprentices, they do, like in my heart, they feel that way. Like,
yep,
and I have deep love and respect for them, and it does feel tribal.
yeah, yeah. So back to what we were talking about before around, are these boundaries healthy for you, Chrissy?
Right.
Knowing that you've got so much power, and I haven't even like hit the nail on the head about this power word. I will. Um, but are you in healthy relationship with the boundaries? Are you in healthy relationship with your tribe and your community? That would be an ongoing question for somebody with a chart like this. I would
Yeah.
encourage consideration around.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, but this 59.6 is aiming towards creating more. So if you think about like, I don't know how many years ago, I'm thinking of like culturally progress. And anyway, I don't have the example, so I can't fully go there. But sometimes it was, well, we just need lots of beings so that the genetics can continue. So there's a genetic quality to this. So part of the intimacy, which I'm hearing you say, is I want to be a part of people knowing themselves and knowing how food happens so that we can actually have a longevity of health and sustainability.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what the center of 59.6 is about.
Huh.
And people who hang around you might flirt with you and you may have no idea that they're flirting.
My daughter would say that all the time. She's like, "Mom, you have no idea that these guys are flirting with you." And I literally was like, "I have no idea." Yeah, like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So how I've heard it talked about from people who had this in the different classes that I've taken is people who have this activation sometimes find that they have to be like negotiating that flirt. So somebody else kind of falls in love with them and they're like, what's going on? I thought we were just friends. So it's like some kind of understanding that because there's an aura mechanic that's happening, whether you want it to or not, there's that possibility of intimacy with you. And so they could like project that onto you. They could be like, Chrissy's my person, and have no idea because they're in that auric a spell. Not spell isn't the right word, but they're kind of impacted in that way. So another maybe reason for why boundaries are great. You know, this Dave guy, he's my guy. So anybody else who
Right.
thinks I'm the shit and the banana, you can, and I'm with him. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
So the last
So
part, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's all of it so fascinating. So really enjoying this.
Oh, good. Well, and I don't know if this is helpful or if you would align with this philosophy, but how I see a chart happening is like up when we're before a human. So we're in our spirit family up there, and we're like, guys, I want to have this experience. And so this chart is that representation of offering what the life could be about. And so, anyway, that's been a helpful tool for me to kind of consider, well, why do I have this activation or not? Kind of what we were talking about earlier on with shadow. You know, why did I take on this behavior pattern? Right. There was something I needed to evolve. There was something I needed to integrate. And, Chiron, the wounded healer, I needed to understand it so I could support however it is that it shows up for me to share that out. And what's standing out for me is something that you referenced earlier. I think you said it when we were recording. Tell me if we didn't. Well, if you don't want me to talk about this, I'll edit it out. But that piece about you as an artist, is that okay to go there?
Yep.
Okay. So you see here in the center triangle that's got a little blue around it? See how there's one activation?
Yep.
Any guesses what that activation is?
It's got to be something to do with my artist self.
The gate is called the artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
And it's kind of like the little halfway connection to 8.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So somebody with an undefined, this is called the identity center. So it's who am I? What do I love? What's my direction in life? It maybe didn't seem so direct, so linear, so obvious. And then this feeling of being an artist might be more known when you're around other people. Yet everything in your chart tells me that you don't need other people. Like, not everything in your chart, but what am I trying to say? Everything talks to itself. So the 4323 talks to the 2034 and talks to the 59.6 that talks to the 3740. So that's what's called single definition. So it's like it's all just looped and talked to me, but I'm split definition. So I've got a party up in my mind and I've got a party down in the root and the bottom part of me. And they're like, hey. But for you, it's all just like churning and having its party all at the same time. So that to me says quicker than if somebody were split definition. We can put that to the side if that's confusing. But the point that I wanted to make with the gate 1 and the artist is that it's activated with Neptune. Do you know much about Neptune or the planets? So it's a very spiritual activation, and it could look very cloudy, like veiled. So it's almost like a felt sense of yourself as an artist, but what does that actually mean in the tangible world? So I'm just accentuating the fact that how you're an artist may not, jump out and be so clear for you.
Yeah. So, and I've often even felt that, like, the way in which I create in my life is part of being my identity of an artist.
Yes.
Like, it's not necessarily painting. Like, there's so many aspects of creating this life that feels like it comes from that identity.
Yeah. Yeah, and we could go in a different direction, but because it sounded like your exact birth time wasn't like so spot on, I kind of feel cautious. But there's something I see in the chart that could validate what you're speaking to. But I'm going to put that to the side for now. What I want to name is your 70%. So my 70% is the rebel. Your 70% is in your solar plexus, and it's gate 55. And so gate 55 is referred to as spirit or abundance. So the gate of spirit is about bringing emotional abundance through spirit. The gate is deeply melancholic, romantic, acoustic. So how does it sound? So you could be really sound sensitive. If you're in like a low with your emotionality, something like an opera that you might otherwise love just sounds grating and you want it to go away. So there's a real sensitivity to the acoustic environment. Being highly acoustic, it's sensitive to how things are said. So the people in your life can love you by how it is that they're speaking to you. Like me, I don't know if you noticed, I brought my voice down. It's softer. It's more lyrical. That could be a translation of support to you versus somebody who's like pop, 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 pop. Your system is tracking that, is knowing what's happening. So it's really important for you to respect your moods. So where it is that you are on that emotional roller coaster, where the snow globe is, are you in your highs or in your lows? Because that's 70% of your energy is in the channel of moodiness. Because when you're in the emotional space of neutrality or kind of like not as charged up by the fight or the situation that happened before, you're likely going to bring forth the version of you that embodies abundant spirit. And this concept of spirit is kind of like a cheerleader in the sense of like, hey guys, we get to be alive. And not only are we alive, but we get to feel things in our body. We get to eat things that taste so yummy. You know, that kind of like, hey, let's go do this thing. So that's what your main focus is. And in order for that truth or that juiciness of that quality to express in the way that feels most aligned to you, could be a good match with tracking where your emotions are. So renegotiating boundaries, or, hey, I know I said that we were going to record for the podcast at 10, but I'm waking up in some really deep emotional stuff right now. Is there any chance we could shift it? You know, any boundary, any commitment that's made can always be adjusted. How's that landing for you? How's that landing for you?
Yeah. It's like, it all really fits, even to the acute, like, how, like with my husband and I, like how things are said is such a big one. Or if he talks really loud, you know, he's a musician. So I think being in bands for so long, like oftentimes it's like, dude, like take it down a notch. Like, you know, I'm just hypersensitive, hypersensitive to sound.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing to see it show up in that context. And it gives it gives a structure to something that's a truth about me.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating.
And I want to highlight the fact that you've got two major activations. So 4323 is a channel I can talk with you about a different time. It's brilliant, but I'm wanting to honor our time commitment. It's in the individual circuitry, as is the 2034. And that's also individual circuitry. And then you've got 55, 14, 1. Those are all individual circuitry, as well as 12. The reason why I'm saying that is not only is 70% of your energy, the gate 55, in that individual circuitry that's super sensitive to sound, there's also these other individual circuitries, activations that are gonna, in their own unique way, kind of activate. It's almost like a butterfly process. So when that sound sensitivity comes in, it could be because some version of you is in your pupa stage. And the butterfly is coming. We know the butterfly is on the horizon, has a trajectory. But if you're in the pupa stage, it could be a time of really wanting to cocoon, to come inward. And so to have a lot of audio or acoustic interference could feel disorienting and like distracting and conflictory. So I'm accenting what you're naming, that there's a lot to say in your chart that speaks to acoustic sensitivities.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then the kind of epic reason why, aside from the fact that you have 3 motors activated, the fact that one of the ways that this synergy of all of this single definition is activated is with this gate that's at your sacral, that's referred to as the gate of power. So power in the now to say the thing. So this is primarily, I mean, you're otherwise a manifesting generator, but this area here is primarily what makes you a manifesting generator. And so how this is typically thought of is your body is in motion maybe before your brain catches up. So something crosses your path and you're like off squirreling and you're looking back and you're like, well, what about my dinner? What about the puzzle I was sitting with, etc. So in human design, this would say that that's a place to really follow in yourself. Those moments where you're pulled off of your chair, that's that, oh my gosh, my body is lit up. I have to go do this thing. Don't anybody get in my way, because that's a manifestor side of you. where if you're interfered with, that's when the anger comes in of like, get out of my way. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is you through the human design system, my dear.
Wow. It's so like, I so appreciate the like the translation from, kind of, so here you got this going on. So like, here's what this could look like in your life,
Yeah.
So for me, having that translation, I'm like, yep, that's a fit. That's a fit. And it brings more, it just gives another modality that brings clarity to, well, this is just who I am and how I operate. And it's not good or bad. It's just, and the more, it's like shadow work, the more awareness I have about who I am, the more compassion I have for myself.
Yes.
And to be able to utilize that in a way that fits for my, the dreaming part of me of, like, so, and I need to be like, yes, and I need to be mindful. Like for me, the big learning is, and the place I am in my life is been working with boundaries, and making sure that I don't burn out. I think that's my biggest risk in life is burning out. So I need to have that real downtime, not just a little break here and there. Like, no, I need some real, and finding ways to create that for myself.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my work, my work of late.
Well, and people who feel your energy without you saying a word are feeling all of this power. So there's kind of two places we could go with that. And I know we're nearing wrapping up, is like, it could be seductive in the sense of like, oh my God, just get Chrissy in the mix and we'll be golden, And so that could be a positive or a negative, I'll say for me that I'm in a current moment of time where I'm needing to recalibrate my version of productivity.
Yeah.
It's like I've run my sacral in a way to prove my value to those that I'm connected with. And I think that can be a characteristic of people with tribal circuitry, because the value is how they love you and whether they love you. And so somebody with a chart such as yours, I have some similarities, but yours specifically, it's, can I be my freaky or genius individual who just gets torn off of her chair and runs and starts and does a thing? She might not finish it, and that's okay.
Right.
And my tribe is going to love me anyway.
Right.
Those need to go together.
Right.
And not at the expense of the other. There needs to be that balance and that synergy. Yeah.
No, that's a big fit, right? Yeah. Like even despite the shortcomings and all of my shadows, right? To be loved in spite of all of that.
Yeah.
Is it, and I think for my, like, that's true, like in my community, my friends, but it's whether I believe that.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Yes. Yes. Do I belong to myself?
Yeah. Exactly. And right. It's it's like the ultimate tribal. The ultimate tribe is me. And so that is where the deep, continued deep healing for myself happens in some of those deep belief systems. And it's happening. I mean, I'll be evolving and working until I'm, I'm passed on like those truths hit on a place for me of like, yep. And it's still a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is still a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or we wouldn't be human.
Totally. Totally. We'd be up there floating.
Yeah, right.
I'm wondering if we want to transition now to the specific containers or how it is that people can find you, like how they can work with you and engage with you at
Yeah,
Badger Creek or wherever. Yeah, if you want to
yeah,
go there. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so here at Badger Creek, um, there's different opportunities to do the shadow work through the way of the horse in nature. Um, there we have a shadow. It's. I think we have one more spot left open, but we have shadow work through the way of the horse,
Mm.
and it's an all women's retreat that is happening on August 13th through the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we have one more spot left for that. And then next year, we have our Sacred Interruption Pilgrimage, which will be happening here at the ranch.
Mm.
And that is facilitated by myself, by three other beautiful sisters of mine that are also shadow work facilitators. And this is more of a program. Like this is where there is time that we work together leading up to the experience that happens here on the ranch. And that is going to be June 24th through the 27th of 2027.
Got it.
Then we will offer, once again, I will offer True North, which is also based in shadow work, based in the equine work. And that one is focused on, in shadow work, what we call our sovereign work. It's all purpose, self-esteem, finding our calling, staying, reconnecting with that inner guide that's going to foster that pathway for us and looking at what gets in the way of that. So that will be happening again next year. I also do collaborate and do, like last year, the shadow work weekend for women in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
So that, I think we have one that is going to be, I think we're looking at January or February. That one hasn't solidified yet, but that will be in Maryland. And that's happening at a retreat center that's in this lovely hardwood forest. So different than Colorado, but equally as beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the other ways to connect with the land here at the ranch is that I'm available for intensives. Like somebody can come for a weekend and do an equine shadow work intensive with me.
Got it.
The other opportunity is come and be on the land. Like you can come to the ranch. We have a bunkhouse. We have 2 glamping tents or camping. And in that Airbnb style where you can come, bring your own food. Actually, the little space I'm in right now is a gathering room. There's a little kitchenette. And it might be that someone wants to come and go hiking, bring a mountain bike. I mean, the horses are here. You can certainly spend time with them. And but if you want to get away, like truly retreat away and do your own thing, you can come and stay. If you want to come to a retreat, there's a varieties of ways to come and do an intensive or intentional retreat through the shadow work and through the horse work. And the retreat that I do with my husband, we will be doing another one next year, maybe 2 of them, and that one is co-ed. And that one is working again with shadow work and the horses. So you do a shadow work. Anytime we're working with the horses, you do a shadow work, as you said, a centerpiece. And we also blend in experiential pieces with the horses, which is groundwork with the horses or relationship building work that we do with them.
Great.
So,
yeah. As you were saying groundwork, I was thinking of oh, I think the movie's called 30 Days with Sandra Bullock. I don't know if you ever saw that one, where
Oh,
she was in rehab,
I
and
know.
like the horses were like the end or part of the like, hey, have you, where are you at in your sobriety journey? And if you could get the horse to lift their hoof, then that meant that you did the thing. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
just like a funny image that just popped in my head, like, oh, I wonder if that's part of it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. This has been a really rich, layered, and abundant conversation. I'm so grateful this matched as a yes for you
It
and
did.
for us to continue as we
It
went.
did. I really enjoyed it, and I learned a
Mm,
lot from going through the chart.
great.
And it's like I there's parts of me that are like, ooh, I want to go a little bit deeper dive into it. So I really appreciate the having the I don't know, just having that first kind of
Oh,
like
sure.
some pieces. There was a couple things I was like, oh yeah, 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 I kind of remember that, but just got so much more
Mm,
through your translation that was really helpful for me. So thank you for that.
good. You're welcome. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of those, it's not a I look at this once and then I've got it all. I'm five
right.
years in and
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
bet.
keep telling me, how does this play out? Oh, a detail I wanted to ask is how could people consume the products that are raised on your at Badger
Yeah,
Creek?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you're in and around, I mean, it's fairly limited in that we sell at the Salida Farmers Market.
Mm,
We sell at the Coaldale Farmers Market, which is just east of Salida.
mm,
Um, or people put in orders and
got it.
they either pick up from us or my husband, when he goes to his jazz band rehearsal,
Ah,
he meets people in Salida, and so they'll pick up their private order. And we have occasionally had like like people in Colorado Springs who like couple
mm,
families come together and they put together an order, and we'll find a time that we've got to go to like Home Depot or Lowe's. I mean, that's the thing about where we are. We're an hour from everything when it comes
got
just
it.
to simple grocery stores. So then to be able to go to, you know, get building materials, it's
Yeah,
like, well, I think we're going to make the pilgrimage to Colorado Springs, which is 2 hours.
got
And
it.
so it's like, gosh, if we're going to bring an order for someone,
Mm,
that's really not a problem whatsoever. So,
great.
so it's very localized.
I love it.
One part, somebody, we had times where people like, gosh, would you ship it? And it just didn't make sense,
Yeah.
especially because if you're inspired to buy
Mm,
local meat, like nowadays, like there's farmers markets, like find out where your local farmer or
right.
rancher is and ask them like how can whether you buy a quarter of beef or just individual, we do individual
Mm,
pieces as well, and we do like beef bundle boxes where you can do beef and lamb
mm,
together. Like take the time to find that person, and it makes a difference.
yeah.
I'm telling you, as a rancher, that if we don't have
Mm,
our customers who are now like our extended family, there's the tribal piece again.
yes.
They make a difference
Yeah.
because if ranching's one of the hardest
Mm,
lifestyles there is, and the margins in ranching are 1 to 2%. So
mm,
if we're going to make it and we're going to keep stewarding the land,
yeah.
especially here in the West, we have to stay viable, and we need support. We need our
Yep.
customers. So,
Yep.
and that's going to be true all around this country. So
Yep.
I know a lot of people are like, well, it's really expensive. And I'm like, well, you don't have to buy all your meat. Like,
Yeah.
I get people still, Costco is a big deal for buying meat, but it's like, try to buy some of your meat or some of your
Yeah.
vegetables. Start small and
Yep.
buy locally and see if you can keep making that part bigger and bigger because
Yep.
it makes a difference.
Well, and I'm also thinking of like when I had the farm stand and the CSA model for the vegetables, this one 3-year-old was like, kept snagging all the pickling cucumbers. It was just like, nom, nom, nom. And so every time I harvested the pickling cucumbers, I was like thinking of them, so there becomes that interrelated quality of like vegetables and animals are quite different, but knowing that your food that you're putting so much love into has a receiving space. It's everything. It's everything.
It is everything, and it's amazing that like at the farmers market when they'll personally say thank you for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like we so appreciate it, and there'll be days when, believe me, it is one of the hardest things to do is what we do, and the exhaustion level is high and the stress is high. I mean, the suicide rate for ranchers and farmers is the highest. Of all careers, because of the stress level. And so just having somebody, or they send us a card, like, I'm like, okay, I can do this for another month.
Yeah.
Like that reciprocity means something.
Yes.
Yes. So, it's just, I think sometimes the public doesn't understand how important it is for us to support the people that raise our food. And it's going to take you a little extra time because you got to go find them. You've got to figure out how they sell, but please take that time and do it because it makes a big difference, as you would know. Which is so cool. Which is so cool.
Yeah. Beautiful, Chrissy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I really enjoyed being with you.
Beautiful. Bye.
Bye. Take care.